The first half of 2021 is over, which was insane, and now we are going to the last half of 2021, what to expect. Here's a video for you. Jeremy Knight, the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. Yeah, this first half of 2021 was insane. Here in Austin, we actually saw some neighborhoods actually see a 50% increase from 2020 to 2021 in prices. So now you're asking, what does the end of this year look like? We have all these articles coming out that it's softening and all these things. So I really think that this is a great video for you to understand what to expect if you're going to be buying, if you're going to be selling in the last half of this year, what you really should be expecting. And we're going to go through this list of kind of the 5 things you need to know. And make sure you stick around for number 5 on this list because it is a very good one for you to know. Also, make sure you drop a comment below. I do make the habit out of making videos of your comments in the comment section. So let's see. Are you going to drop the comment that I make a video on next? Drop a comment and let's see. One of the first things I do every morning is actually just go to Google, type in housing market, and look at what the new articles are that are coming out. And in the last few days, I've seen things saying it's softening and a lot of different stuff happening. I saw this one with the 5 things homeowners should know, and they took the information here from a Redfin article, and I felt like this was all very good information. I'm gonna give you kind of my feedback on some of the things that I read. So number 1 on this list is we aren't in a housing bubble. If you go to YouTube, you actually look and you have all these people now saying the bubble's here, we're crashing. My last week's video actually talked about some of those things, but from the information they're saying is the spike in home prices since the onset of the pandemic isn't an indication of a bubble because the demand is coming from well-founded buyers who are competing for very few homes. So I get it, a lot of people want to be the first to say, yes, the housing bubble is here and it's popping and all this stuff and be the first to get the clicks and the views. Even Redfin, who's pretty reputable, is saying that they're not seeing this. A lot of other people are giving specific reasons why we're not in a bubble. And one of the primary reasons is that the average age for buying a home is around 33, and we have more people in that age group right now than we ever have before. And in fact, if you looked at the 2007 demographics, it actually showed that we had a huge reduction in that 33 buying pool, and that's partly why we saw some of the craziness in 2007, and that's why a lot of big investors got out in 2007 ahead of the crash because they saw that there wasn't enough buyers. And this article right here is actually showing that we do still have buyers in this pool. Granted, there's been a lot of things that have happened and prices are increasing, which we're going to look at some of this other details, but for those that are saying the bubble's popping and then things are crashing, stop scaring people. Next on this list is competition is easing. According to the article, the once intense competition to nab a home is declining as more homeowners postpone their housing search, according to Redfin. A lot of this has to do with just people being out of the market. Prices have gotten to a certain point where people are uncomfortable buying. A lot of homeowners that were getting ready to sell haven't had inventory to actually purchase. So competition is easing at this time. If we look at inventory, inventory has gone up, but not substantially enough to actually make prices fall. So here in Austin, we are still seeing multiple offers, but they're not these 30 offered deals, but we're still seeing 5 to 10 offered deals. So yes, inventory's come down. In fact, if you look at my community page, I even talk about this. I'll give you kind of what the inventory is. While there's 3,000 homes in our MLS on the market, only 2,400 of those are actually in our market area, which is still relatively low. Last year at this time frame, we probably had around 5,500 to 6,000 homes on the market. So here's a good note. If you are looking to sell right now, make sure you price your home competitively, but not way over what it should sell for. Since there are less buyers in the pool, the higher you price, you are putting yourself in a disadvantage where your home will start to sit longer, potentially get lower offers. If you are a buyer in this market, keep an eye for our homes that are hitting 12, 14 days on market and start capitalizing on those. The other thing is if you are buying, know that you still could get in a multiple offer situation. It might not be that $150,000 over list price offer, but you still might run into some of these multiple offers in this market. So competition is easing, but that doesn't mean that competition has gone away. And that leads us to next on this list, home prices are still increasing. So while people are thinking that less competition means that the prices are coming down, there's still enough competition where prices are increasing. Even right here in the article it says, although there is less competition in the market, home buyers are still making their offers stand out. To do so, homeowners will likely shell out more cash, effectively driving home prices even more. So really what you should be doing is just really paying attention to what the comps are and keep an eye on what things have been going going over list price for. You might not have to go that high over list price, but you still want to stay on trend if you are a buyer. And again, sellers, make sure you're pricing where the home should sell for versus what you think it should sell for, $150,000 over list price, because you don't want to price yourself out of this market and wonder why you're not getting any offers. So from the recent data that I pulled on our MLS, it did show about 10% of homes are reducing their prices. If you think that's a lot, keep in mind, recent data showed that 51% of homes, just in general, were selling over list price. In our market, it probably was a little bit more. So keep that in mind. 10% isn't a whole lot of homes that are actually price reducing. So again, if you're a buyer, look at the pricing. If you're a seller, look at the pricing. But the next on this list is relatively affordable places are getting more expensive. Now, this article that I'm referencing is talking about, in general, all areas. They reference Phoenix, Las Vegas, Sacramento. But if you look at Austin, our prices in a lot of these areas are up 35 to 40%. Here's actually a really good article that kind of shows exactly what this is talking about. I found this from Orchard. It's data about Austin, and you have areas like Wimberley, Cedar Creek, Liberty Hill, all seeing huge price increases over the last year in the 35 to 41% and even higher. So that's some really good information. So what they're saying in this article from Fox Business is actually very correct. And don't worry, I will do a full video breaking down the data that we saw here in this article from Orchard, because there's some really good information. I'll even link it below so you can take a look at it before that video pops out and give you some information there. All right, so let's go to the last in this list, which I think is probably the most important, that if you are gonna be buying or if you're gonna be selling or even investing, this is the most important to keep an eye on, and that is there still isn't enough homes on the market to sell. So look, everybody is saying that the bubble's about to pop and all of these videos are coming out, which I really find frustrating, but there isn't enough inventory. Again, we are still about a half-month inventory in the Austin area, and a lot of markets still don't have enough inventory. While more inventory is coming on the market, it's still getting picked up pretty quickly. Here's a good stat. In the last 7 days in Austin, we still have had more homes go under contract than homes that actually hit the market. So if you look at that as far as the Austin MLS, and that's not even really the Austin area, that's Austin's MLS, which is, you could put any home in the Austin MLS if you wanted to. It could be in Killeen, it could be down in San Antonio. So given that information, there still isn't a lot of inventory. So as we get to the end of the year, yes, we're getting more inventory now. That will start to drop off. November prices will start to increase even more, and then we're gonna jump back into January, which is pretty much what I said in my last video. So we need to keep an eye on inventory. If inventory really goes up, then yes, we might be headed for a good leveling or correcting in our market. So there you go, Jeremy Knight with the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. Did you agree with these 5 on this list? Did you hate this 5? I want to hear from you. Make sure you hit that like button. If you want to smash that dislike button, well, I guess you can do that too. It still feeds the algorithm. So we'll catch you on the next one.